Hey everyone, Doug Kenny here, along with my coach and mentor, actor Andy McPhee. We welcome you to Relentless and Unstoppable's next anti-bullying panel. And welcome everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for having us.
Buddy, thanks for joining us again. Happy New Year. Just a quick bit of info for our guests. You'll notice we have a new logo. We're now getting caps and T-shirts made. And once that starts to take off, we're going to start donating proceeds from the sale of these T-shirts once the expenses have taken out, and start giving them to, sending them to organisations, whether it be suicide, mental health awareness, or bullying, or anyone who's promoting a book or wants to write a book on some specific subject. We're just going to be helping people be relentless in their journey. And just a quick thing, Relentless and Unstoppable is not it was my idea, but I stole that from an author who was the head coach to Michael Jordan, Tim S. Glover. His audiobook, Relentless and Unstoppable, it's pretty blunt and full on. It does pertain to athletes, but also to us. He really is a very hardcore coach and a no BS coach. And he worked with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, RIP. For 14 years he worked with Michael. And to be relentless, in his words, is someone who's focused on their passion and what they love. And sometimes in being relentless, you can be a very isolated individual sometimes. Now, we're not saying that we want people to do that, but if, say, Doug is very focused on his transformation, dealing with high-functioning autism, depression, suicidal thoughts when he was younger. Now, we all jump over hurdles, and those hurdles can have a name on them, can have whatever name you want, depression, finance, relationships, bullying. Those hurdles are always going to be there, but when we jump over them and we keep jumping over them, they start to mean less, and we start to jump way higher over them. And then that keeps us in that relentless attitude of no matter what confronts us, we have the tools to deal with that and keep going. Now, I know most people at a high level still deal with the same crap that we all deal with, but they have a different mindset that helps them get beyond that. And also a lot of our friends on here that we've interviewed have lost people to suicide, whether it be a partner or family, friends, and their inspiration to keep going in life is relentless and unstoppable, even though that pain is still there. And that's what we really hope with this channel. And we don't always want to have the channel in a position of like, oh gosh, those stories are so heart-wrenching and dark. They are, but we also want to have the lighter sides of people who've just written books, or someone who's just had a breakthrough in, being bullied, or someone who's just said, hey, mum and dad, I'm going to be a world champion fighter. And they told them that when they were 12, and I've got 5 guests who did that. So we just want to have a variety of all life. You can be relentless in any area of your life, but it takes a lot of guts, a lot of action, and it does take something to step up to that. So Doug is living proof in my world that you can create whatever you want, even though it's hard. And it's hard. We have arguments. I'm tell you right up now, we have arguments every day, but the arguments are not against each other. It's human nature, and Doug gets it. And the thing about Doug is he's brilliantly stepped over all that. And that's why he's such an inspiration to everybody, because now, from being a kid who's dealing with high functioning autism, 320 pounds, to a kid who's now fit, healthy, and inspiring the world, because he does 80% of the work. All I do is come up and flick him behind the ear virtually and say, what are you doing? It's not what we said. Right. So it's a boot camp coach. There's no doubt about it. But Doug deals with that, and he proves to all of us that we can step over these hurdles. So he's a great inspiration to myself and his mum and everybody else. So I'd like to thank you guys for being on here. And Doug, back to you. And don't get a big head, all right? Just because I pumped you up.
Can't make promises. I'm just kidding. Okay. Brendan, Explain your circumstances with bullying and how you overcame them.
Well, yeah, I think you
Hey,
need
Brent,
support.
sorry to be rude, but I got to jump in here. Before you start, you got to tell people around the world where you are, because you look like a real Aussie at the moment, and you are. You're doing the Aussie wave with the flies in your face. Please show us the kangaroos that are sitting just around you, mate.
Okay, sure, I'll do that. So there's some kangaroos here. I'm at a wildlife park, so yeah, I think you can see.
Yay. Awesome.
Crikey.
Yeah, so I'm a bit like Steve Irwin at the moment.
You are, mate. You are. Okay, sorry to interrupt you, but we had to share that. That's awesome.
Thank
Where you go.
Okay, so I think support matters, like having people around you that help you through, like if somebody's not nice to you or something like that. So yeah, I've had things happen, like people said something most of the time or pushed me or something like that, and it hasn't been nice. But yeah, at that time I had a few friends, but I didn't have the support that I needed back then. So yeah, I had a bit of trouble, but nowadays I have a bit more support. So I find help more often these days than I did in high school and primary school. So or junior high, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, Karen.
Hi again, I'm Karen Haines. My connection with Douglas is that I was his assistant principal when he was in second grade, and he was in the same class with my daughter. And then I became the principal of the school that he was in as well. And I've had a long history of things that have been challenging in my life that even in my 50s that I'm still working through. And I've been seeing a counselor. I think that's one thing that's been really helpful for me. And it's not an easy task, and it's not something that I know is going to just be fixed in 1 or 2 sessions. What I'm learning is that I've been unraveling a lot of bullying and abuse that has occurred throughout my lifetime, and things that I really have. I'm an empath and a very sensitive person, as I have been learning. And so I've taken all of this to heart, and it really hurt my self-esteem throughout my life. And it's something that I'm working on. And one of the things that I'm just extremely proud of Douglas. And I have to say, he's been a tremendous, tremendous inspiration to me. One of the things that has really spurred me into my next steps after 30 years in education, 25 plus in administration alone, has been that I am now leaving the typical school field. And I actually met with a writer this week to get my first book started, and that's going to be about my years in Alaska and the work that I did in a very remote village that was all Athabascan. And I just loved the people that I supported and worked with out there. I taught kindergarten through 5th grade all day during the day. And in a multi-grade classroom, I had to really change how I operated and how I educated kids. And then I did my principal duties after the students left. And when I say left, most of the time I kept my school open late at night because some of them had very challenging home lives, a lot of drug and alcohol abuse. But one of the things that I think is really important is that you believe in yourself and the impact that you're making on others. Sometimes you don't realize until much later, and sometimes you don't even realize the impact that you've been making on people until you're going through some struggles of your own. And I've really struggled to believe in myself. And I think that that's one of the things that is beautiful about being an educator is that kids teach me just as many times as I've taught them. And that's one of the things with Douglas that through our conversations, it really made me realize that I could also do some of the things to impact other lives in a different way as I'm moving out of the traditional school setting and starting a couple of books. The first one's going to be about Alaska. And what I'm planning on doing is I have a tremendous passion for still working with kids. And with that, it's important to me to really get the word out and starting a foundation for vision therapy. It impacts 40% of the population. Most of the children or even adults don't realize that they have vision tracking issues, and it takes a tremendous amount of time. And it's not covered by insurance. It's not helped in schools. It's not supported in schools. And so I met with somebody today to really help launch that. And I'm hoping to meet with legislators so that we can start looking at trying to get this into schools and making a difference in the lives of kids that struggle to read. Because many times kids that struggle to read are either bullied or become bullies because they are really having a hard time and they feel different or not like they're in the same, they're not able to do the same things as other children. And that's one thing that I would very much love to change, not just in our society, but hopefully worldwide. And again, I've been able to get a lot of my inspiration from what Douglas has been doing and in my conversations with him. And so it's great that, it's kind of the flip of me being the educator and having worked with him, and now he's working with me. And I just think that comes full circle. And I really appreciate all of the conversations that we've been having and the inspiration that he's been providing for me.